What is up, guys? It's my first video for my sports YouTube channel. And first off, I just want to give credit for this name to my cousin Max. He's the one who thought of it in the first place, and I should do like a podcast for sports. And I've wanted to do a podcast format sort of things for a while now, but school's been crazy busy and I haven't gotten around to it. So this is going to start out with a little bit shorter videos, just analysis of like hot topics in college football, the NFL, basketball, and when it comes around baseball season. So right now the big thing that's concerning me is Notre Dame versus Miami debate. Who should be ranked higher? Is the committee getting it wrong? And so far, and sure, maybe I won't take ESPN, but like all the analysts seem to think Miami's just a way better team, like worlds better than Notre Dame, and that like, oh, the committee is just committing blasphemy by putting Notre Dame ahead of Miami. And I'm here to set the record straight and say, no, Notre Dame actually is a better team, and here's why. So here we go. So the thing that we're going to point to is back in week 1 when Notre Dame lost to Miami by 3 points. And yes, that loss does matter. But here's what taken into consideration. Miami was at home playing a freshman quarterback in his first start. The offense was not nearly the same for Notre Dame as what it is today because CJ Carr, again, first game, like freshman quarterback. And so they ran a lot of screen passes. The play calling, which is not very good overall. And Miami got a key possession off of a kicked in the air, caught interception. We also, Carson Beck was about to get sacked, and he threw an absolute laser to CJ Daniels, who caught a one-handed touchdown pass. And that was just like, I won't call it a lucky play. That was a really good play. I'm saying that's our margin of error for losing that one. We go to College Station. We don't go to College Station. I forget if we were at home or at College Station for this one. We go to A&M. We lose that game from a last-second touchdown from A&M, and we missed an extra point earlier in the game. Okay, so what? We still scored 40 in that game, and we committed to the run much more than we did against Miami. And that's where the identity of the team has lied this year. We become a team that runs the ball down your throats and throws a couple deep balls to CJ Carr every game. That's become our identity. And so I would argue now that Notre Dame is a completely different team than it was back in week 1 when it lost by 3 to Miami in Miami. Now Miami, for all accounts and purposes, is a good team. They finished the season 10-2, but their losses I think matter just a little bit more because it wasn't just like a one play away or really close. Well, okay, the score of the games were close, but it wasn't like contest. What happened was, against Louisville, Carson Beck, who had been playing well for most of the season, completely melted down, threw 4 interceptions, including 2 with a key chance to win, and that sold the bag for Miami in the ACC. Now, they were still in contention. Obviously, it's a 1 loss in the conference. They could still ride this out and go 11-1 and go to the conference championship, right? Wrong. A couple weeks later, they go to SMU, and they lose in overtime. When Miami gets the ball first, Carson Beck drives them down to the 2. There was an interception on the goal line. SMU goes down and scores easily in the rush. And it's a team in Miami that messed up their college football playoff chances and also specifically their ACC championship chances, but on their own error. It was not anything that was like one play away or very close. Miami controlled their own destiny, meaning beating Notre Dame in probably the hardest game of the season, and in an easy conference in the ACC, and they completely blew it. Because now, with their 2 conference losses, Virginia is playing for the ACC championship at 10-2, and the ranked number 18 against 7-5 Duke. This is how bad things got. Miami had a clear chance here, but they lost their 2 games, based completely on Carson Beck. Threw 4 picks against Louisville. He threw 2 against SMU, including the one that led to them scoring and winning the game. Notre Dame, ever since that start, has gone completely the opposite direction. We found the identity of the team, and we are good in every single phase of the ball. Running the ball, 2 of the best running backs in the nation, Jeremiah Love, Jadarian Price. Jeremiah Love, if there wasn't so many good quarterbacks this year in college football, he would be a top Heisman candidate. He really should still be a top Heisman candidate anyway, just because of the way he carries our team. But that's certainly one thing. every week seems like making another crazy play, whether it's sitting on a defender and getting open rushing 50 yards, or a spin move, or a hurdle. This guy is electric, and he is the heart of our offense. Running the ball with him, like, we can't go wrong. CJ Carr has finally found his rhythm, throwing to guys like Malachi Fields, Eli Raridan, Jordan Faison, Will Pauling. Our receivers are finally starting to break out, and I think it's best exemplified both against Pitt and against Boston College, where we ran the ball down their throats, but allowed for a lot of play action plays where he had a fake handoff. CJ Carr can just rip it downfield. Had a few to Fields, a few to Will Pauling, and he's just really found his rhythm in the deep pass and just passing in general. He's really showed he's somebody we can trust this year and the years beyond. Like, I don't believe there's a single team in the college football playoff Notre Dame can't beat. Even, yes, the undefeateds, Ohio State and Indiana. And that's where it comes, so that's just on the opposite side of the ball. Our offensive line is obviously very solid despite the injuries. Defensively, we get after the quarterback at a very high rate. Pressure is great. I was in person for Notre Dame versus NC State game where NC State had a few calls go their way in the first half, so it was only 7-7 or about 10-7 at halftime. Notre Dame completely flipped the switch second half. We got after the quarterback, forced him into 3 picks, got a couple of sacks, and just completely shut down their offense from there. Defensive line, very outstanding. Our cornerbacks, Leonard Moore, we have Adon Schuler back there. Just some really talented players on the defensive end of the ball that if a team can't beat you through the air, they can't beat you with the run either. Stuff the run. One of our key wins against USC was very good for us. And yes, you can see we haven't played that many good teams since the Miami and A&M slate. But think about this: 36-7 against North Carolina State, 37-15 against Pitt. I would argue it was 37-9 because they scored a cheap touchdown by calling a timeout with 5 seconds left. 70-7 against Syracuse, which is the same thing happened. They called a timeout with 5 seconds left just to score and get some points on the board. It was 70-0. Like, come on, it was 70-0. And 49-20 against Stanford, 56-30 against Purdue, 56-13 against Arkansas. Just every single game coming out of the gate, dominating. I haven't even talked about special teams yet, where Jerian Price is an electric returner. He's returned multiple kickoffs for touchdowns this year. Jordan Faison's been a good punt returner, and we've blocked punts at a very high rate too. Just like the teams we've seen with Marcus Freeman, and I forget who our special team coordinator is, where we just get after the punter. We're very good at getting back and blocking punts. We had, right out the gate against Syracuse, we had a pick six, and we blocked a punt, and things are just really great in that side of the ball right now. That's the other thing too with our corners. We get interceptions and pick sixes at a very high rate. And I'm saying Miami, while I'm not discounting their latest team, obviously they made it. They were 10-2. They're a very solid team, but they don't necessarily dominate in any area of the ball. And again, they beat us by 3. CJ Carr first game. I'll give Carson Beck credit. He played very well. The receivers for Miami, Malachi Tony and CJ Daniels, played very well. But the fact is, we're looking at right now, the college football player ranking should be determined on who is the best right now. And it's very clear to say, especially if you watch the games like the committee says they do, that Notre Dame is better than Miami. And so that's kind of where our reasoning comes from. And yes, if it comes down to it, not even if it comes down to it, Miami should be ahead of Notre Dame right now. But they ruined it for themselves. They controlled their own destiny. They were 1-0. That was their hardest game of the year. They were 1-0, and they had a chance to go undefeated, be in the ACC championship, win that one easily, be like a top 4 team right now. But instead, they lost the 2 games to SMU and Louisville, and ruined their chance at that. Even an ACC championship that would help their bid this year. Now they have to rely on BYU losing and probably Alabama too to get in. It's a much harder route for a team that should have been top contention all year. Just like last year, Mario Cristobal and the crew melted down later in the season and lost their chance to really contend the way that they deserved to be. So that's why I say Notre Dame is better. And definitely drop y'all's thoughts in the comments, telling me like which college football team you root for and which team you want to win it all this year. Thanks for watching, and yeah, see you in the next one. Peace.